Hey, beautiful. Welcome to the Not Another Mom podcast. It's time to take that mom hat off because this is after hours and I'm making you off the clock. This podcast is here to help you know your worth because damn girl, you're a goddess who deserves to live the life of your dreams. I'm your host, Leslie Sprague, and we talk everything from manifesting to motherhood. Yes, those little monkeys will still creep in here or there. Spirituality to girl talk with your besties, and from business to finding that balance in life. I'm here to remind you that you are worth it. Life gets to be easy for you, and your dreams really can come true. So grab your favorite glass of wine, craft beer, or if you're a whiskey and diet kind of girl, grab that and let's get this show on the road. Hey beauties, and welcome back to the Not Just Another Mom podcast. I am your host, Leslie, and as always, I am so grateful that you are here with me this week. Okay, so there has been something that has been on my mind probably since the last podcast, the last week. And it's been something that I came to the realization, like personally, that I was going through. And I want to share it with you guys because it is actually a really powerful tool in your healing journey. So, and this is the analogy of the mirror. So, when you hear me talk about either mirror work or reflections, stuff like that, what I'm talking about is anybody you interact with in your life. They will, if there is something that you do not like about that person, or that's something that that person does, or the situation that is happening, I invite you to look at yourself, because that person or that situation is reflecting back to you something that you don't like or need work on in yourself. So, for example, I had an experience on the weekend, and I realized that I was getting frustrated with this other person because they were playing victim. Everything was happening to them. Nothing was happening and it was always, poor me. Don't you feel sorry for me? My life's so hard, all the things. And I get it. Like, yes, those things actually are true. But when we slip down that slope, it's hard to come back out of. And what this reflected in me was that I was getting so frustrated with this other person because of this. And I realized that I was doing the exact same in my business. I would go down that slippery slope of poor me. And it was mostly to do like my business, quote unquote, wasn't where I wanted it to be. And it was a real wake-up call for me. I was like, holy shit, I'm doing to you what you're doing, and that really isn't helping anybody else. And so I invite you to look at these situations when they arise. Because when we take a deep look in the mirror, that is where all our answers lie. A lot of people come to me and they want to find answers outside of themselves. But What they don't realize is that when you take a deep look in the mirror, all of the answers lie within you. And this, if you try to go at this journey alone, it can be very hard and lonely. And, you can take it as you will, but sometimes you can look at it as, oh my God, I have another lesson to learn. When am I going to be done learning these lessons? Why am I not over this fear yet? All those things. And I've been there. Trust me, I have been there. And you know what? I slip there sometimes myself still. Not sometimes, actually, probably more frequent than I would like to admit. But these moments are here to guide us. One of the biggest things that I've come to the realization of is that life is not it's not a destination. It is always a part of the journey. And when you start looking at these moments as, oh, thank God, like I learned that about myself, that's how we begin to grow and evolve. That's how we morph into and transform into what we want to become. So when you look at these things with an open mind and be willing to look at it from a different perspective, these moments begin to shift. And then that is when the magic happens in your life. When you begin to realize that this is a destination, enjoy the ride. Even though, yes, there might be some bumps in the road, but those bumps in the road are there to guide you, maybe to slow you down if you're going too fast. And when we look in the mirror, everything we have and need is right within us. I find more and more that people are looking to seek outside. And my biggest piece of advice to give to people is to come back to your heart. Come back to your home body, and connect to your heart. And then I want you to connect to your gut, even, because those two organs will not steer you wrong on this path of life. And when you take a deep breath in, ask yourself if you're okay in this moment. Because that's all there is. That's all we have, is one moment at a time. We spend a lot of time worrying about the future or staying bitter about the past. And we forget about that moment. I still find myself at this moment holding on to some bitterness, and I know exactly what it's for and what it's from. So know that we are all human and we are not perfect. Find a way to let go of the bitterness. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and see if you can see things from their perspective. I think immediately after I am getting off this podcast, I am going to be doing that myself, because I want to heal that relationship. I don't want to be bitter about it anymore. And maybe I can shift that relationship to be exactly how I want it to be. Either that or it's the choice to let it go. This episode went a lot deeper than I thought it was going to go. So, I hope that helps. Remember to always, and when I'm working through something, I try to always look at myself first. Try to find the answers within myself first, because I'm the only one living this experience that I'm creating. So I can create more bitterness, more frustration towards another person or situation, or I can choose to see it differently. I can choose to see it with more love and light and let it go. I think that this might be a letter to myself as I'm speaking to you guys on this podcast, because there is, yeah, some healing work I need to do for myself around this. But I know I'm also saying it to you at this exact time, and it's exactly what you need to hear too. So choose love. Choose to physically see it from the other person's perspective. And when I say physically, I mean find yourself in a meditative state, get yourself grounded and centered, and then imagine putting that person on and see it from that different perspective. If you find yourself having a difficult time with somebody, one of the things that you can do to resolve that relationship is to send them, have a conversation with them from your higher self. So remove your emotions from it. Remove your emotions from them and meet them in that higher space. Meet them in the space where both of your higher selves are exactly where you want them to be. Oh my God, you guys, I hope that this resonates. And a lot of the work that I find that triggers us the most can be from our own families, whether it's our spouses or our parent, like our own immediate family, but it all gets to be good. And we are all here for a moment. It's okay to let things go too. You don't have to heal all the things. Part of the healing can be in the process of letting somebody go. So I hope this all makes sense, you guys. And I hope you find some peace and healing around it, around this topic of looking in the mirror and going deep within ourselves. But one thing I also want you to know is that you don't have to do it alone. I think a lot of people feel like these journeys can be lonely when you're doing healing work. But this is why I seek out coaches. This is why I choose to connect with people who are like-minded for myself. And if you're needing any help right now, I have spots available in my one-on-one containers. I recently opened up week spots for my program OM, and this is audio only. You don't have to join any calls or any of that stuff, because I get it, we're all busy, but we can create deep healing and changes just from the simple audio. And we go back and forth in Voxer, and it is honestly magical. So I hope this helps you guys. And if you have any questions about how you can work with me, reach out to me on Instagram and I will be happy to help. My Instagram handle is at Leslie and Co XO. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys, and we will chat with you next week. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, will you do me a favor and help spread the love? Go ahead and leave a 5-star review and share this episode on your Insta stories. If we aren't yet connected on Instagram, come follow me at Leslie and Co XO. And since everybody spells my name wrong, that's Lesley and Co XO. And leave me a line and say hi. Have an amazing day, beautiful, and we'll catch you next week.